Brodin a shot. He scores! Unbelievable! It's 6-5 Minnesota.
Wow. LaPanta, man. I don't think, I mean, if I'm LaPanta, I am bathing in champagne after that. That was like, I mean, I know he's called playoff games, but was that the most fun, exciting regular season Wild game that you can ever remember? Like, I know there's like 20 years of regular seasons, but have you guys ever felt that just geeked after watching a Wild hockey game the way that they came back and won that thing last night?
It's been a long time, probably.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Yeah, I'm trying to recall off the top of my head. They played they did play legitimately a pretty boring, bland style for a long time. Now, the 03 playoffs, to your point, were definitely a different animal, but I would say, yeah, that's right up there. That's top 3 for regular season comeback endings.
We need to take Declan's temperature here in terms of Wild fever. Last night, after that game was over, Declan tweets, "You son of a bitch, I'm in." Hashtag MN Wild. What is your temperature of Wild fever right now, Declan?
Well, I think a 99.5 is entering low-grade fever because I've been zapping my forehead every day for the last 6 months after having COVID in October. And
really?
Yeah, 99.5.
You take your temperature every day?
Just to do it. No, like you got that little zapper thing. You know, Royce, I think, was saying this too.
Yeah.
Like he got one. Like it's on my shelf by my TV, and I just zap my head.
You do it every day.
Just for s and giggles. Yeah, I do it all the time.
That's really sort of weird.
I don't think it's that weird.
I don't want to know. I don't want to know if I have a fever.
Yeah.
Like whenever I have to walk into a restaurant, you ever have to go somewhere and they have to zap you?
I'm
always fearful. Like, I was just walking from my car. I have a hat on?
Right. No, they zap us, and they zap us at Target Field. They zap us at the Expo.
But I feel fine, right?
Yeah, I feel
fine. I can feel it if I'm off.
But
maybe it's a Wild fever thermometer, and it's going to be like 104.5 today for Declan.
So I would say if 99.5 is low grade, I mean I'm in the hundreds here. Like I'm not in the low grade fever. I'm in the mid tier of a fever right now. Like I'm not sweating and I'm not seeking hospitalization yet. But I'm in. I'm all in, baby. I'm in.
That was fun.
I think and maybe this is wrong, but Judd said there's just been a lot of boring, systematic hockey throughout the history of this franchise.
There was one time, yeah.
Like the first half of the franchise's existence, they had some winning seasons and they made a run, but it was boring, systematic Jacques Lemaire hockey, right? It was neutral zone trap and hold opponents under 2 goals and try to win every game 2-1. And this just feels like there's really no deficit. Like they could be down 4-0 in the second period, and in the back of your mind, you're like, I don't know. Kaprizov could score a couple goals. Fiala could score a couple goals, and they can come back and win this thing. It feels like this team has more comeback ability than any team I can remember in Wild history. And I don't know if the actual stats would back that up. Maybe they had more comeback wins in previous incarnations, but it kind of feels like don't change the channel when they're down 4-2 like you would have maybe 5 or 10 years ago with this team.
Kaprizov is, I think, the key right there because he is a superstar. He can do things that people can't do. He scored that tying goal that he scored last night. We will begin to, unfortunately, and we already might be at the point of taking it for granted because it looks so simple. There are a ton of former players on this team who, if they had corralled that puck, would have shot it over the net. Like that's just a fact.
It's true.
The difference is this.
Palmerville?
Mandela?
There's very
Palmerville fans actually, but
by the way, this is why, with all due respect, this is why I believe a month ago on this show, on this podcast, I told you guys, LaPanta has to tone down some of his goal calls because the last 2 last night were where you got to sell out, right?
Yeah, can we run that clip again? Yeah, every goal sounded
same.
Like every goal that he called sounded like the winner. So yeah, there needs to be a little more escalation. Yeah.
Yes.
He scores! They add one here. We're even. Drive, he scores! They score! Fire, save, rebound, they score! The thrill does it again! Brodin a shot. He scores! Unbelievable! It's 6-5 Minnesota.
I'm not saying you shouldn't be excited. Like, okay, they scored. That's awesome. But I feel like there has to be a crescendo, right?
Yeah.
Like those last 2 goals have to be the roof could come off calls. And the goal that like got them within 1 can be exciting. Oh, hey, they're coming back. But it can't be the same tone as the tying and then certainly winning goal.
Does Judd have the guts to post on SKOR.com? Zolgad, LaPanta fails to rise to the moment of great Wild comeback victory.
His problem is he rises to the moment too soon.
Well,
premature goal elation.
Premature escalation?
Premature goal elation.
Something like that.
It's goal elation. It's premature goal elation.
Judd here. Are you a play-by-play announcer having problems with early evacuation of excitement?
Good for you.
Dick Bramer.
Zolgad here. I know that hockey play-by-play can be a grind, and I know that all goals are exciting, but all goals aren't made the same. That's right. Zolgad here for premature goal elation.
Are any of these games, and I know they've also mixed in some buzzkill losses here, but like as they rack up big wins against good teams, how has your opinion of what this team can do in the playoffs changed over the last month or so? Or do you still think this team is a year away from a legitimate run?
No, I think they have a run in them. There's vulnerability, I believe, with Vegas and Colorado. With Vegas, I think their defense is poor. I think they are very suspect on their blue line. They don't have a lot of depth there. That being said, Rob Leonard, Marc-Andre Fleury, those are 2 goalies who are 2 of the best in the league. They might have the best tandem in the league, and they're going to steal a game or 2 in the playoffs. Like, I'm confident that they will absolutely rise up if their offense is silent enough that they can steal a game, but their defense can leave them out to dry, and that's what happened yesterday. With Colorado, it's the opposite. I think their offense is legit, their blue line is legit, but Grubauer and Dubnyk, funny enough, those 2 guys are susceptible too. I don't think that they are going to be able to necessarily carry them long term into the playoffs. I would say Colorado of the 2 teams has a better chance to make a run between Vegas and LA or Las Vegas, but I think the Wild, if they match up with one of these 2 teams, I think they can absolutely win the series.
What's the matchup right now? What's the first round matchup right now?
Colorado.
Yep. It's likely to be Colorado, right?
I think at this point it's a little more like, but there's still so much at play here. The Wild are 2 points out. Colorado has a game in hand, so the Wild can still get home ice advantage in the first round of the series. Like, that's still very much in play.
And Colorado can pass the Golden Knights, and the tiebreaker is so if there's a points tie, the tiebreaker, the first one is regulation wins, which I think the Avs lead in. So the Avs, if they tied the Golden Knights, would actually beat the Golden Knights, and they'd be first, which would mean the Golden Knights are, in that case, probably second or third. And if the Wild plays the Golden Knights, it's going to be intriguing because, Phil, they've beaten them 5 consecutive times now. And I can't figure out, like, if the Golden Knights have this playoff run. I don't think that they do. Their defense, like Dex said, is irresponsible. Like, they should be good, and they're not, and I don't know why. But last night, the amount of bad plays in their own zone, and they turned the puck over in the slot a few times. So I'm with Dex. I think the Wild can win a round. I don't know if they can win 2. I don't know if they have the requisite depth and skill up front, especially when Rask and, God bless him, Hartman continue to play a ton. But it's a fun team. Here's my biggest difference between the team that drove me to drink at times. And this team, which drives me to drink because I'm just happy about them. The biggest difference to me
Celebratory drinks.
is, they're celebratory drinks as opposed to trying to drink to forget the game that I just saw.
Judd here. If you're looking to kick your drinking problem.
Yeah, but remember, exactly. Remember, if you have a drinking problem. So the biggest difference to me is a week ago, Wednesday, they're up by 2 on the Blues, and they blow the lead late, and they lose, okay? That would have sent a lot of previous incarnations of the Wild into huge tailspins. Mm-hmm. Like, I mean huge tailspins. Like, it would have affected them into the playoffs if they made the playoffs.
Yeah.
They came back on Thursday and didn't play great. They tied it and lost in OT. They came back from 2 down again on Saturday and didn't play great, and they won. And that game to me was sort of the old, we didn't play well, but we've got enough skill to come back. and I don't know if Dex agrees, but I thought last night, down by 2, they had actually played well. They played hard. Talbot didn't have a great first 2 periods. They certainly had mistakes, but mistakes don't mean that you didn't play a decent game. And with the way that they came back last night, that to me is so outside of anything that previous Wild teams for the past 5 to 8 years were capable of. And that's why what they did last night is how you win playoff games.
Yeah.
And this team was incapable of that for years. Like, they could come back, but once the playoffs came and it became just a hard game to play, and you basically got your ass kicked, the Wild just disappeared. I mean, this team didn't do that.
I would also add, and you guys bring this up all the time on Judd's Hockey Show. This top line, when you're just looking at firepower, right? How many series during the, let's just call it the Parise-Suter original era? Like, I get that we're still in the Parise-Suter era, but like this is no longer the Parise-Suter era. Those guys are in the back seat of the car now. When those guys were in the front seat of the car, how many times did they go into a playoff series and you thought legitimately the Wild bring more firepower or equal firepower at the top if you did a roster-by-roster comparison as their opponent, as Chicago numerous times, right? Even the series they played against the Blues in Colorado, I mean, you could say that because I believe they played a young McKinnon in one of those playoff series against Colorado that they won. But even then it was like Colorado had some top firepower. You could now, I'm not saying that in every series that they would match up in the playoffs against every team they would feel like this, but you could make a case that like they might have the 2 best guns in any given playoff series, or at least you'd feel like it was a fair, equal fight at the top of the roster.
The Wild's MO going into those Parise-Suter playoff runs, it wasn't firepower, it was depth. It was depth. We have the depth. We have 4 lines. Depth
gets you to the playoffs. It's just like the Twins series. Depth will get you to the playoffs, but depth doesn't win you a game 6, a game 7. Nino Niederreiter might score a double overtime goal because hockey's hockey. But it's not going to get you to the Stanley Cup Finals.
My point to Judd was last night, my main takeaway, and all 3 of these guys scored yesterday. Kaprizov, Fiala, Joel Eriksson Ek. And by the way, Kaprizov, 24 goals. Fiala, 20 goals. Joel Eriksson Ek, 18 goals. Back in the day, it was Parise and Suter with then the supplemental core of the Granlund, the Coyle, to Nino, to Zucker. They were supposed to rise up, right? They were then supposed to, they would be the complementary pieces to the Koivu, Parise, Suter, even Eric Stahl era. Now, in my opinion, it's Kaprizov, Fiala, Ek, and maybe even loop in Jordan Greenway, Matt Dumba. It's those guys are your core. The supplemental pieces in Parise, Zuccarello, Bonino, those are your supplemental core. Your core players are these 3 young studs who are all under the age of 25 and are knocking on the door of 25, 30 goal seasons. That's your new core. And Fiala and Kaprizov have the ability to take over those games. And we saw that yesterday. And that was a team where the Vegas Golden Knights could have buried them. They were up 2 goals. It's the 5th time the Wild have come back from 2 goals this season, down in the 3rd period. Like that is something that you don't want to put yourself in every night, but they've shown that they can come back, and I think it's why they can absolutely make a run in the playoffs. Absolutely.
This, by the way, based on just point percentage in the standings, this is the best team in Wild history. This is what's the schedule?
I'm not
70
surprised.
games or whatever. Like
56.
They're not going
56. Yeah.
Okay, so they're not going to play the full 80. They're not going to get to play it all out.
Right.
But point percentage, this is the best regular season team in Wild history.
So to backtrack on your question, Phil. All you need to know is previously when the Wild went into the playoffs, their star player was Parise and their leader was Koivu. Now your star player is Kaprizov, and you've got Spurgeon, who is the captain in name, but in my opinion, Bonino, Cole, Foligno are the key guys. That is a playoff. That is a recipe for at least potential playoff success. Parise being your star was never really that's the problem, is that he was a really good player and he really worked his butt off. He did a lot of things well, but I mean, think about the talent there. Like, watch the games and go back and watch Zach in Zach's prime and watch Kaprizov now. It's not a contest. Like, it's not close. And so that's where, and by the way, My favorite stat from last night is a stat that paints the picture of the history of this franchise perfectly. Did you guys see Kaprizov got an assist to, I believe he tied the rookie record for assists in a single season, right? Wild history.
Wow.
And who had it? Who
Koivu?
was it? Was it Koivu? Was it some other young gun that the Wild Oh, no, Gabby had some assists. I mean, it's got to be a name.
This is so sad.
It's defenseman Philip Kuba.
Oh, Kuba.
Kuba, who was an
Throwback,
all-star
man.
once. But the point is that my man summarizes Wild history up till now.
Yeah, this Wild discussion, by the way, unfortunately for the Wild, I think it's going to be a while till they can make tee times. I think it's going to be a while. It's bad news if they're looking to make tee times, but when they're ready, PXG Minneapolis is a golfer's paradise. And the new Gen 4 golf clubs are here. Drivers, fairways, hybrids, irons, PXG's flagship clubs. They also have the new 0-2-11 golf clubs, the full line of high-performance clubs, packed with PXG technology and priced a little bit more within reach. If you just want to look sharp, maybe you're coming off a trip to the Western Conference Finals and you came up just short, and you got to play a couple rounds of golf to clear the mind to get ready for a Stanley Cup run next season. Spring and summer apparel is here at PXG Minneapolis in Southdale Center. Find out more at pxg.com/Minneapolis. Well, since you're bringing up names from the past, and since the Wild are on the verge of their best regular season point percentage-wise, I figured we should dust off a fun old segment here, boys. This is Random Season Recall.
Wow.
And you two guys are on the hot seat right now.
Oh, boy. We did not know this was coming.
No,
we
you did not.
know. Not prepared at all.
Let me find. You're not legitimately not prepared.
I know,
You
I'm
have
not
no idea
joking.
what's about to happen. I'm going to give you guys a little appropriate music here, little Blades of Steel. Okay, so we're going to go back to the first time the Minnesota Wild ever tallied 100 regular season points, which they're not going to get to this year because the season's shortened. But the first time they ever tallied 100 regular season points, the 2006-07 Wild, no peaking.
Okay.
I'm going to quiz you guys. Okay.
All right.
Random season recall. Okay. Who were the three captains on that team that went 48, 26, and 8 and finished second in the NHL's Northwest Division?
All right, Declan, let's do this. 2006-07. So that is the captains. 'Cause Koivu became captain after that. So these are guys that would have rotated the C, right?
There was three of them.
Okay, three guys, Declan.
Okay.
Three guys who were captain
Yep.
in that season. I mean, this is as forgettable as Wild team as you can possibly
Is it?
get.
What do you mean?
Four
There's
guys.
104
Was there any other
points.
context? Was he just said four guys? He didn't
No,
say
three guys.
Three guys.
Three
Three
captains.
captains. Three captains.
Three captains.
This team was
Rolston?
number one. Wow, Rolston's one of them. Look at this guy.
Rolston.
This team
there
was
you go.
number one in the NHL in goal prevention, by the way. Just the way that Jacques Lemaire liked it.
Only you can prevent goals.
I'm gonna go with the. No, he wasn't there. I don't want to even use it. I want to say like Curtis Foster.
I'll give
I
you
don't
three incorrect guesses, and then I win if
There's got
you
to
can't
be a defenseman involved.
Yeah, that's
Declan.
what-
There's
I
got to
know.
be a defenseman involved. Yeah, Curtis Foster wouldn't have been it.
not
Wait,
Skula.
So who would have been? Oh God, Martin Skula. He was drove you as crazy as Victor Rask, but he was on the blue line.
I'm trying to think of like the mainstay.
There was a defenseman for sure.
There's got to be a
Yes.
defenseman. Yeah. So
I love the anguish here. It's great.
Willie Mitchell's gone by
Yeah.
then.
Oh no, Willie Mitchell was gone. That's a good one.
Willie Mitchell would have been a
Yeah.
perfect one, but he was
one
gone
one
by then.
winger and one defenseman here.
This is
One
before
of them is a very prominent. Neither of these two guys were stars. I mean, this team didn't really have stars. Period.
No, that's what I was going to say. Thank you very much. One was prominent.
Pascal Dupuis.
a prominent name.
Pascal Dupuis.
Oh
Nope.
wait, Pavel Dimitra.
No, you guys get. I'll give you one more incorrect guess, and then I win
mean-
this point.
You're going to win this point.
We said Ralston was one of them. Koivu was not there yet. A winger and a defenseman.
Do you want? Okay, one of them has been prominently on the radio a lot over the last 10 years, 5-10 years,
Locally or nationally?
locally.
Walls. Walls was gone.
No, Walls is
Well,
gone.
then who the hell would it be?
You two puckheads, come on! This is one of the The great early
This
Wild
is-
teams.
No, this is a garbage team that happened to accumulate 100 points
All
because
right. Mark Parrish
Oh,
and Keith Carney were the other two captains.
God, I
Dang it.
wouldn't have gotten that in a million years.
I thought Carney wasn't there until 08. He was in
I
the
did-
back of my mind, but I did not think he was there.
You know what's funny? For the first
Wrong.
time, you gave us a hint about this, and I don't feel bad for not getting it because I barely remember Parrish being here. Like, barely. That's right. And they bought him out.
Yeah, they did.
Oh, my
Okay.
gosh.
Okay. Three goaltenders.
This is gonna be bad.
Three goaltenders logged time for the Wild that season. Name them.
All right, Declan. So this is post Rolly and Manny, obviously.
Yeah.
Backstrom,
Backstrom.
right?
Yep. Backstrom.
Okay.
Okay. So three goaltenders. Is
Are we
this
sure
is this
that Manny was gone at this point?
Yeah. I'm almost positive he's gone. So is this is this pre-Brizgalov?
Oh, yeah. Briz didn't come till like 2014.
Okay.
Harding wasn't ready yet. I feel like it would. No, not Theodore. Theodore was a few seasons later.
Come on.
It is
you were
funny
young.
how obscure
You've
these
got the
teams
brain.
were, man.
You've got the brain cells still. Well, I actually don't feel bad about the captain one. That's how obscure these teams were.
I feel
Okay,
like.
I'm gonna help you guys here. Manny Fernandez
Yeah,
was one of
Fernandez
them.
was there. Yeah.
Oh, he was still
He was
there?
still there.
He
I
was
thought
still
Manny
there.
was still
Yeah.
there. Yeah.
kind of a
All
rough
right,
season
we'll give
for old
Declan that
Manny.
point then.
Yeah, I would think Manny
Well,
was
there's
there.
still one more.
Well,
You'll
there's
get the
got
point. There's
it's
one
got to
more.
be someone random. It's got to be. It's gonna be like. Well, didn't they have like Nabokov or like they had some random dude for a game?
Now you're just naming random Russian
Yeah.
names.
They had they had Jacques Plante,
Cheselkov, right? That
Glenn Hall. They had Jean Malash. No, they had Donnie Beaupre. I have no idea.
I don't know.
I'm gonna take.
I
I'm
don't
gonna
know.
take this point from you guys. Josh Harding played in 7 games.
Oh, you said Josh Harding.
I said he wasn't there yet. That's why I said he wasn't there
You
yet.
floated past him.
Yeah, I did.
So, all right, that is
Wow.
random season.
That was
recall
brutal.
Here,
That was a
you guys.
brutal assignment. That was really, really, really bad what you just did to us.
Yeah, it's not
Struggle
This
bus
is
there.
06-7 Wild.
Oh,
yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
can you blame us?
Do we have a guest on the line, by the way?
Yeah, we do. We do have a guest on the line.
Thought I saw that lighting up there.
Hmm.
So, all right, I'll let you guys get your redemption on a different Wild team maybe sometime next week.
Thank you.
But all right, let's get to our guy here. In fact, Dex, can we play some audio here? Do you have that from?
Yes, I do. I do have that actually.
Randy in Cottage Grove. How are you today, sir?
Great. I'm riding high. I'm on an emotional sort of a high. It feels good to be good at what you do, and I am.
Well, just for the audience here, and just so we can give you your proper due, Declan's got the audio here. Last week, Randy in Cottage Grove came on the show as he does every single year, and he did his 7-round Vikings mock. Now, in previous years, he nailed Mike Hughes. He's nailed Justin Jefferson. Let's roll the tape here.
Now we go to 90, and Zim's going to get a new toy, as they say. Janarius Robinson for Florida State. He can really fly off the edge, and he's going to be a fun bookend there for Daniel Hunter. Janarius Robinson is a great value at 90. I love that pick.
I mean, how can you not give this
Hold on
guy...
a second. Hold on a second, Randy. I'm giving you a round of applause here.
That's pretty
Who
amazing,
was
man.
that? Whose voice was that on the radio there?
Jeff.
That was Jeff.
That was me. That was old Randy getting that right.
Oh,
yeah,
I'm giving you credit.
Yeah, we
Old
just
Randy
gave you
did a
credit.
great
We
job.
literally just gave you
we're
an
giving you
applause
credit.
there.
We're
Yep.
And I was high on that kid. I would have, as you heard there, I would have gone up as high as kind of the 90, 95 range for him, and they got him late. So good, hat tip to Zim, and as you guys know, I had a lot of different trades and scenarios in my draft. You didn't let me kind of delve into, but one of them was trading back out of 14 and getting a lineman later in the first, and. I thought that was going to be Tevin Jenkins. Turned out to be Christian Darisaw, and he's a stud too.
And in fairness to you, there's no way anyone could have known that he'd still be there at 23, right? I mean, what a bunch of idiot teams that passed on him.
Gone with Jenkins might have been the pick. I'll tell you that right now. That's based on some good digging and connecting a lot of dots from things I hear from different folks. But the draft, mocking is not. It isn't just throwing darts. A lot of guys like Nick Shea's out there, wanting to get all snug, telling everybody he got the first 7 right. Who cares? That's easy. You didn't let me do my whole draft, but I got those same 7. A lot of people got those 7. So Todd, simmer down a little bit. Like he's got a big head on his shoulders, and he's sort of kind of becoming the little Kuiper Junior, because he wants to think that his stuff don't stink. Well, Todd, how'd you do later, huh? Todd, did you? I didn't say Kellen Mound going to us, but you roll back the tape. I said I like him. I just don't think he'll be there. Well, he was there, and I knew they'd take him if he was there. And Todd just kind of takes the easy ones, the low hanging fruit. And Daniel Jeremiah, I looked at your mock. That ain't nothing. That's a nothing mock. And the guy one of my least favorite guys is the plagiarizer, Schrager the stealer. Traeger the plagiarizer, and all these guys, they're looking to guys like me, the real mockers who do it for the exercise of it, for the glory of it. They're always scraping and scrounging for our mocks, trying to stick a little of that into their recipe. Well, I got news for you guys. We're not going to just continue to do this for free forever, And soon enough, we're coming for you. We are coming for you, and we're a community of mockers who take this serious. Like I said, I got 2,000 hours on this thing. That's how you nail. 2,000 hours is how you nail picks.
I feel like today should be a day for you to celebrate your own success. And Randy, instead you come on the show and you drag down people who try as well. I don't know if that's in the spirit of true mocking.
Todd McFake, as I call him, McFake is get off your high horse, Todd. Go ahead and peg one in the 3rd, peg one in the 4th. Try to go a little deeper than I got the first 7. Who cares? That's like going to the kiddie gym and dunking on a 4th grader. Nobody cares about that, Todd. You gotta get with the program and dig a little deeper. Come up with something a little bit more creative, Todd.
I gotta say, I'm with Randy on this. I think it's more impressive that Randy nailed a mid-round pick to the Vikings than anything that, like, if you're McShay and you're pumping your chest about the first 7 picks, I mean, the first 2 were a given, for God's sakes. I mean, I'm with Randy. Randy picked a needle out of a haystack.
He did a great job, but I'm trying to celebrate what he did, not drag down the blogging community.
I think we should do both. I'm fully with Randy.
No,
here.
I'm fully down with.
All right, you guys. You know what?
Yeah,
I'm the
screw those
positive one.
guys.
I'm the positive one, so that's fine.
I puff in my chest. I'm taking the victory lap, as they say. And speaking of victory laps, if you do a little running and get thirsty after, you might find yourself in need of a cold beverage. And one of the best spots to get it is Newman's Bar in North St. Paul.
Yeah, Randy. Hey, sorry, buddy. Yeah, we can't.
Yep, Randy,
You can't bring sponsors to our show.
Newman's Bar is the oldest bar in the state of
Randy.
Minnesota. They also have I'm doing the read. They have fresh grilled cheeseburgers. A fantastic selection.
Randy, like, are you? You better be splitting this with us. What kind of scratch are you getting from?
Ice cold beers, including deals on hams and schnapps. Newman's Bar is one of the best places to come if you're on a motorcycle.
Sounds terrible.
Randy, you're gonna.
Excuse me.
We're gonna get in trouble for this, Randy.
We're getting in trouble.
We have live entertainment.
How long is this read?
Excuse me. I'm sorry, the guys at Newman's. I'm trying to get through it. We have live entertainment 4 nights a week. Great cheeseburger. I said that cheeseburger special as well. They wrote that in here twice. And then
you
also
call them out for the copy.
Yeah.
Did you just call out your sponsor?
In the front window, you can see a live bullfrog too. So visit Newman's in North St. Paul. SKOR.
There he goes, and he's gone. Man, we're gonna get in trouble.
Hold on.
Alrighty.
I didn't know that was coming.
Yeah, I don't think any of us knew it was coming.
No, I know.
Well, I mean,
Newman's.
if he can do it
down
then
there, though.
I'll tell you what. This Randy mock session was brought to you guys by Federated. That's right. If he can do it, we can do it. Federated Mutual Insurance Company may not have burger specials, and they may not have, what did he say, a bullfrog
In
the front?
Yep.
Missed that one. I didn't hear that.
I'm looking
I
at
don't
it
even know
right
what
now.
that means, but
I'm looking at it right now.
Federated does have risk management tools and protection for your business. Find out how Federated can make your business as successful as it can be and give you peace of mind as a business owner by going to federatedinsurance.com. And remember, at Federated, it's our business to protect yours. No, never mind. Thought I had a Vikings horn there, but I didn't.
Oh, no.
This bar does have a big ham sign in front of it. I just looked.
Not a hams guy.
NEUMANN''S.
I did love the
like
commercial.
Devani, like Dark said with Devani's.
The Hams song, the Hams Bear, that's Land of Sky Blue Waters. Great tune.
Oh, from the land of sky blue
Tell ya,
waters.
One of my favorite local bar, and Declan used to, or maybe still does, go to this place. The Hideaway used to be Tugs. Then it was
Yes.
the Hideaway. Now they've like rebranded about 10 times, but
They're now like a pizza joint.
love that place down on
Where's
St.
that?
Anthony, Maine. And
Okay.
they used to have a
Oh,
drink.
yeah.
They used to have a drink on their drink menu called the Gold Collar, and it was literally a can of hams and a shot of wild turkey. It was like $5.
Yeah,
so
it's a
good.
great deal.
Oh my
Great
God,
deal.
that sounds like that's a drinking man's drink.
And
Yes.
that's not
That's a
me.
bad week
Listen,
drink.
They're not paying me to say that, unlike apparently what Randy just did, which is going to get us all fired.
How long was
Yeah.
that script?
I
felt like a script was
We got to
a
talk
long.
to that marketing director.
Longer
we gotta
than it
shorten
needed
up
to
that
be.
script. Yeah,
And then he called out the script being wrong, which I don't think you're supposed to do.
you're not supposed to do that. No.
My sponsor, Federated. Look, oh my, what's this script from them?
Wrote that in there twice. But you know what? I got to give the guy props, man. I mean, he's gone
Yeah.
from nailing first-round picks. He also nailed the first-round concept, right? He
Yes, he
told
did.
us he had a trade back for an offensive lineman.
He
didn't
totally
think
nailed
Darrisaw
it.
was going to be there. So you all can keep your Mel Kiper mocks, your Todd McShay, Peter Schregers. We've got Randy Vikes 69, Randy in Cottage Grove, giving us the real intel on this show.
Maybe, perhaps, hopefully, if the bullpen doesn't screw us.
I can't believe you're being negative off last night's
Yeah.
game. The first, just like
do you
we jump
mean?
in, just so people know, we jump in here and we're going through our pre-show discussion. All right, we're gonna start with Wild. It's very exciting. Sounds like Randy in Cottage Grove might be hitting us up
I
today.
was jacked.
and then we'll get to some Twins. And Judd goes, "Sounds like Rogers almost blew it last night, huh?"
I was monitoring.
Killington.
I was monitoring the game
Judd
on
Killington.
my second laptop at the X, and
It
the
was.
Twins were up comfortably, and everything was fine. And just like that Mariners game 3 weeks back, all of a sudden the bullpen starts to blow it. And I didn't know, because I was engrossed in the Wild game, that Rogers had come in and given up 2 more runs and almost blown it.
Rogers did give up a 2-run bomb to Joey Gallo, but last night, the Minnesota Twins, you had Alex Kirilloff once again on base, dirty
Yep.
uniform, just doing everything all over the place. I want to start here with you guys, okay? Defense for a second. And another reason why our guy Miguel Sano is probably going to be a utility player, like a corner utility guy, bench bat. Alex Kirilloff last night made 2 low-key great stretching scoops on bang-bang plays at first base. And Sano has shown flashes of that, but just like a 2 natural scoops that bailed out a couple of bad throws in that game last night.
Yep.
And you had Josh Donaldson making ranging plays and Andrelton Simmons. The Twins' best infield defense is Donaldson, Simmons, Polanco, and Kirilloff. And if you wind up putting Sano at first base, I think you're making your defense worse at 2 positions, because then it would mean you're probably putting Kirilloff in a corner outfield spot where he doesn't have a ton of range, or you're moving like Luis Arraez to second base instead of Polanco. You're just trying to find ways to get Sano in the lineup. So
Yes.
your best offensive lineup and your best defensive lineup involves Alex Kirilloff, I think, at first base.
Your reality is, and I'm sure it's going to be tough for the Sano stands to accept this. The reality is that Kirilloff is your first baseman of the now and the future, and that's that.
Yep.
Just from a lineup construction standpoint, it's true. let's see. Do I want Kirilloff in left and Sano at first and Arise on the bench? No, I don't. Arise should play. So yeah, I don't even. The toughest part about this is I don't even think this is that difficult of real life discussion, because what are you? So if you are arguing for Miguel to come back and play, okay, you have, as far as I can tell, two main points to make, and both fall flat. One is, well, he's been an on-base machine. He's walking a lot. I'll go back to what I said before. I don't care. He's not Ricky Henderson. He ain't Vince Coleman, okay? So he's walking a lot. What?
Coleman reference.
Lead him off?
Wow.
And like what? Huh? He's walking a lot? Like that's your hill to die on? And then the second point is that, oh, no, hold on a second. I've rethought this. He's not just walking a lot. He's going to get incredibly hot for 2 weeks. When? I don't know. It's just going to happen. But he has to play a lot. No, that's not a good excuse. If you're running a professional baseball team, Alex Kirilloff is your first baseman.
That's like me on Friday or Saturday night saying, I got a stretch in here for the next 2 weeks where I'm gonna get really hot. When's it gonna happen, Declan? I don't know, but it's gonna happen.
Yeah.
It's something's
I like
gonna
what you
happen.
did there. I like what you did.
Something's gonna happen.
I like what Declan did there. So I love you, sports son.
Just gonna keep going to the bar, and
I'm just gonna yell it out.
What could happen?
throwing the vibe out there.
I'm gonna hit a bomb eventually, but yeah, I'm gonna probably keep striking out, but eventually I'll hit a bomb.
Well, like your choices, I laid these out on Twitter last night, and of course, got called a hot take artist. Like, no, think about it.
Did you again?
It, okay, yeah. Think about it. Not by like Twins bloggers. I'm just saying, like you got. So Kirilloff is not coming out of the line. Like the guys are going to get days off. I'm saying your A lineup,
yes,
includes Alex Kirilloff now going forward. And you can look and say, well, he's only hitting .214 through his first week and a half or whatever. A lot of that is bad luck. The guy has had some missiles that didn't fall for hits. I mean, when he does make contact, it's extra base hit power. He takes good swings. He got on base 3 times last night. Well, one was a fielder's choice. Scored 3 times. Had a great base running play at one point. He's a starter at this point. So if you're looking, all right, Sano's knocking on different doors to get back in the lineup. It ain't going to be Kirilloff's door he walks through. Okay, well, who else? Well, what about, Luis Arraez? You could move Kirilloff to left, and then Luis Arraez goes back to being just sort of a roving utility player. Well, Luis Arraez has a 400 on-base percentage right now. I don't want him out of the lineup. He's one of the best on-base guys in the league right now. So, I mean, maybe he sits once in a while like everybody else does, but he's in my daily lineup. He's your leadoff hitter right now, right? Okay. Well, what about Polanco? I guess could you move Arraez to second and Polanco becomes a utility guy and Sano at first and Kirilloff in left? Well, now you've made your defense worse at 3 positions, and Polanco's bat is starting to come around. Right-handed, he's been hitting some missiles. Last night he gapped one, and so I'm not taking him out right now, especially if it means making my defense worse at 3 positions. Okay, what about Kepler? I mean, he's kind of been struggling. He had a hit last night. It was a bloop. Could you move him to a bench role and then Kirilloff goes to right? Well, now your defense is worse again at 2 positions. So the logical move here is Sano becomes your 10th or 11th guy, and he is filling in when guys need off days. So maybe he plays 3 days a week right now. That is the reality. And it's less of a rip on Sano, and it's more of a praise on Kirilloff and a praise on Arraez. This is... Now, another counter argument is, well, Jake Cave's a backup, and he's played basically every game. Yeah, because the Twins have had a bunch of injury issues, and so there will be room for more than 9 guys to play on a regular basis. I get that. But Sano is not one of your main 9 when he comes back later this week.
Yeah. And by the way, I am in no way advocating or condoning Jake Cave playing as much as Jake Cave does. I mean, he came in as a defensive replacement last night and took an angle on a baseball that he went to the bar and came back, and then he went to the light rail, and then he what are you doing, dude? So I am not condoning that. I disagree vehemently with how much Cave is used. That being said, you're right, and Sano is going to play. I understand that. But to plug him back in at first base and be like, well, it's his position, he's back, I think is a mistake. And I think your most athletic lineup and your best way to play a game that is not hope for a home run baseball, which Kirilloff can do, obviously, is to have Kirilloff at first base. Like, I really don't think this is tough.
Yep. Kirilloff, like, this is very anecdotal, but he just looks like a confident ball player too. Like, he's
got an approach.
He's calm. He's stoic. He doesn't swing at a ton of bad pitches. Like, he puts, like, Morneau was pointing it out last night on the broadcast too, that, you know, you rip a dollar bill in half, and that's basically the width of that's the area of the bat that you get to square a ball up and really hit it on the screws. And he just says, you know, Alex Kirilloff is naturally able to do that more often than most guys are. There's just a natural gift there. A lot of guys can swing a bat and put a bat on a ball, but like to swing it and put it exactly where you want on the barrel, that Kirilloff has a knack for that. And you're seeing that in the first couple weeks.
Yeah, he plays pissed off. Like they're trying to get him to lighten up even a little bit, like in a good way. He plays pissed off in a good way, because even they said, I think Rocco Baldelli or Rise said they've tried tickling him because he's just always so serious all the bleeping time.
Very stoic. Very
stoic.
Simmons
Very stoic.
said that. Depew used on Talkin Twins Monday the perfect term, old school baseball term, but it describes, and it will describe Kirilloff to a T. He is the old school professional hitter. That's what he looks like. Mm-hmm. Like, there's no, I hope I go to the plate and get a hit, right? I hope I connect. He has, that swing is so sweet, and he has an approach, and he looks like a guy who was born to hit. And that is not true for most guys, right? Mm-hmm. There's very few guys who look like they were born to hit. He looks like he was born to step into the batter's box.
Yep. Another piece of good news last night for the Twins. Kenta Maeda looks to be back on track. He had one rough inning that he got out of, but he goes 5 1/3, and they took him out at 94 pitches. Like, he probably could have grinded through the rest of the inning, but I'm fine with it. 5 1/3, no runs allowed, 8 strikeouts. He had 10 swinging strikes and 18 looking strikes. So just a lot of good breaking, moving stuff on the edges that was freezing some of those Rangers hitters. That's not exactly a murderer's row lineup, but if he's back on track, and Barrios has been mostly good this season, the only guy that's really been a total train wreck outside of Maeda up until now is Shoemaker. So I feel pretty good about their rotation. Bullpen still suspect. They definitely have some things that they could trade for at some point, but it kind of looks like this thing is getting back on the tracks, and they're making hay against teams that they should beat here. So, and I include, by the way, the Royals in that mix. The Royals, I know that they're the first place team in the division. That is not a good baseball team long term.
And the White Sox got problems.
Yeah, they do.
The White Sox got
out
3 months, right?
Yeah.
Eloy Jimenez and Luis
They're
Jimenez is
basically
out
out
for
for
the
most of
season,
summer.
and
Yeah.
Luis Roberts out until like August.
And Giolito got a start pushed back a couple weeks ago. Like
And did you see? And did you see who's being criticized for his moves because they really don't make sense? You'll be shocked by this. Tony La Russa.
Hilarious.
Jerry Reinsdorf. How do you put that team in Tony now in his hands? It makes no sense. Like, that was one of the dumbest, short-sighted things. They're going to have to make a change at some point. Like, it's not going to work.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's hilarious.
But the
I don't
Twins,
think I don't think he gets
good for
fired
them.
mid-season, and they're talented enough, and they've got enough pitching. I mean, my God, like every starter in that rotation is ridiculous. So if they stay, Carlos Rodon, his former number 3 overall pick, is finally figuring it out. He had the no-hitter. So Dylan Cease, Michael Kopech, kind of in and out of the rotation. So they're still talented enough to where they can probably overcome a couple injuries in La Russa to maybe still make the playoffs. But
He's taking guys out when he shouldn't be, leaving guys in. I mean, this is going to be a disaster there.
yeah, it's hilarious. It's hilarious to watch.
It is. They deserve it. Hopefully.
Talkin Twins discussions every day here on Mackie and Judd, and those discussions powered by our friends at Dennis Kirk. So if you like to ride, Dennis Kirk is here for you. 160,000 parts and accessories in stock. Whether it's a sport bike, Harley, whatever it is, you'll find what you need at DennisKirk.com. Order before 8 p.m. They ship the same day, plus shipping is free for orders over $89. Best in the business, DennisKirk.com. Everything you need for your ride at DennisKirk.com. All right. Good stuff, boys. Little wild celebration. This is shaping up to maybe be a fun few months. Plus, we get Wolves off-season speculation off of a decent finish here down the stretch. So hopefully the Wild can give us a fun little run. Maybe get us to the Western Conference Finals for the first time.
Oh, that would be fun.
Oh, it'd be delicious. Make it happen.
Probably have to pull off a first-round upset to make it happen, but we'll see.
Oh, we can do that. You can do that.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Be sure to check out our daily Vikings conversations on Purple Daily, and if you could, subscribe to our 2 YouTube channels, Purple Daily and SKOR North. Just search them up on YouTube and click the subscribe button. We'll give you daily ugly faces in your feed talking about Minnesota sports. And anywhere you find the audio version too, you can always carry us around with you, Mackie and Judd and Purple Daily. You've helped us set new records for SKOR North downloads and consumption the last couple months, and we're very grateful. So we'll see you guys tomorrow for Write That Down and an accountability session.